Hi, this is Linz from Sweet Natured, and this is our guide to a smoother embarkation. As always, I'm joined by Mikey.
Hello.
Hello, who put the video together, and this is my first time watching, so let's see what we can see.
As you said in the intro, Linz, we're looking at our tips for a smoother embarkation.
Yes.
And in this ever-changing world, we're going to start by looking at making sure you've checked the protocols.
Oh, they can change from one day to the next.
And they can change on the same day.
Yes.
We have seen vloggers recently and people we know who have got to the cruise line and found that they had to have a test on the morning they got there, including a friend of yours a couple of weeks ago
Prima.
on the new Prima. So it does happen. We would encourage you to make sure you're checking the protocols right up to the day that you're actually going.
And we're also going to pack masks because...
Just in case.
Just in case.
We shouldn't need to. But the next cruise we're going on, which is why I've shown it on here, is P&O Iona, which at the time of recording, we're going on that in less than a week.
Yay!
So it were a good time to take a look at it ourselves. If you go onto there right at the top when you log in, it has its own COVID hub. This is pretty much the same for every major cruise line. And they have not only the COVID requirements for on the ship, but also where you're going.
Yes.
Which is obviously very important because ships don't stay in one place.
You've got to do so much research now.
You do. Now, they talk about on P&O in particular, sort of the enhanced health and wellbeing measures. A lot of them are the same that have been in place for a long time, but it's the ones that you've got to check around vaccination requirements, around testing, around mask wearing, etc. that changed most recently.
And if you don't check and you don't do it, it's your fault.
It is absolutely your fault. If you look at P&O, for instance, what they've said is they've got a fixed thing in place for all their cruises up to the end of 2022, apart from those, I think there's 16 cruises, where on those particular ones, all guests aged 18 and over need to be fully vaccinated, and you don't need to, outside of those 16, you don't need to be tested. If you're on one of those 16, all guests aged 12 and over have to be fully vaccinated, and if you're over, all guests over 5 must have a test on the day you're going on or the day before, and a monitored test, not a self-declared.
Oh, good. I mean, this is why you've got to keep on top of it and do your research, because you don't want to be at the port and they say no.
No, and even worse, also when you're going out on the cruise and you're going to your new destination, for instance, Barbados at the moment, still requires a passenger locator form to be filled in. But you can go on and see what you want. So, for instance, Spain there's no real requirements at this moment in time. You might need to wear a mask when you're walking around, but from a government point of view, you don't need to. But St. Lucia, they might not let you go on a local excursion and only allow you to go on a P&O official one.
You'd be disappointed, wouldn't you? But it's just the way the world is now.
Would you like to take 2 seconds to just invite people to subscribe if they haven't already, Linz?
I would love to invite you to subscribe. Thank you if you already have done. And yes, it does make our day.
It does. It makes us very happy. And if you can hit that like button, that would be fantastic.
Oh.
Next up, packing.
Ooh.
And we don't talk about clothes specifically, but more a case of what you shouldn't pack with your clothes.
I wouldn't pack anything that could be taken for booze. For example, mouthwash.
Yeah, because they're going to take your suitcases to one side and check through them or ask you to go down and open them.
Yes, and anything bottly that you think, could this look like booze? I would put in your carry-on.
Yeah. Well, it's going to delay your suitcases getting to you possibly.
Yeah, because even though you might have just decided to take a little bag, we now take a little wheelie suitcase that's got anything in there, medication, swimwear, anything we might need for the day before the big suitcases
Assuming
arrive.
that we won't find our suitcases till the end of the day. And obviously, if you are taking any alcohol on board, definitely take that in your carry-on.
Oh, yes.
It's worth you getting something like the AirTags or Tile if you don't have an Apple device, albeit they support Apple as well, because it can let you identify, one, that you know your suitcases are on a plane or the cruise ship, but secondly, it can also help the staff locate where they are.
I always like it when it looks like it's in the sea, but you know it's on the ship.
That's much better when you know it's on the ship. Next up, the paperwork person.
Yes.
It's not the fanciest job title.
No.
But it's a very, very important one. Because if you leave it up to multiple people to do, there's a chance something might get missed. People thinking the other person's done it.
You need a dedicated admin.
Dedicated admin. So we always make sure that one of us is the allocated person for the particular cruise we're going on.
It's usually
making sure
you.
that we've got the luggage tags printed out, your boarding pass.
Can I just
all the other bits.
mention something about luggage tags? You need to make sure you staple and sellotape them.
Yeah, otherwise they'll fall off. So the night before the cruise,
Yes.
whether you're driving down
Mm-hmm.
on the day, and we've drove down on the day on one occasion, but we generally go down.
Yes.
If you look, for instance, on the map, looking at Google Maps for our drive this coming week,
Yeah.
it's giving a 2.5 hour variant of what the average is because it doesn't know it yet.
Right.
And therefore, anywhere between 4 hours and nearly 7 hours. 4.5 hours and 7, which you don't want to arrive at the port and see your ship set off.
No.
So your other option is obviously to stay over the
The
night
night before, yes.
Depending where you're going from, wherever you are in the world.
I'd still like doing it the night before.
It just takes that pressure away from
Yes.
you of things that can go wrong. You can be perfectly organised, end up on a motorway in between junctions, something's happened and you're stuck.
Yes.
You then can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said earlier, it's your responsibility to get to the cruise port. It's not the ship's responsibility to wait for you to get to the cruise port. So we'd always recommend staying over the night before.
Yes.
Fine if you live 10 minutes away. Worst case scenario, you can walk and push your suitcases.
That would be the dream.
It would. But for us, we don't live 10 minutes away.
No.
And if we're going overseas, we wouldn't ever travel on the day that the cruise is.
I've
Plus,
done
they
it
don't
once.
recommend it now anyway.
I've done it once. It's
So traumatising.
oh yes.
Well, it puts you in the wrong mindset before you get there. Car parking, because if you're driving to it, and a lot of people do take trains or planes and taxis as opposed to necessarily driving, but if you are going to drive, then you need to have a look at parking.
Yes.
If you're going on a short cruise, obviously it's cheaper
Yeah.
to park. If you're on a longer one, our upcoming one's 14 nights,
Yes.
the cost of parking for 14 nights is greater than what the hotel package is, which includes 15 nights parking.
Okay.
So for us, you're better off. Plus, if you leave it till the last minute, and I did that this morning, if you went on and checked whether there's availability, there's not. It's sold out.
Okay.
So if you've not already booked it,
it's
you
something
kind of
you've got
can't.
to prep for. Yes.
The Triangle one there in Southampton, when we did the 4 nights, was £66. For this particular cruise, would be £240.
Yes.
Whereas a cruise package, which includes your stay, transfer to the docks, your breakfast, and obviously your accommodation, is only £203. So it's worth doing that research and seeing. And one of the things that I thought was worth mentioning, increasingly more and more people have electric vehicles. You're leaving your electric vehicle at the car park.
Yes.
Good idea to make sure you've got more charge than you think you'll probably need, because your car will use it whilst it's sat there.
Okay.
Comfy shoes and comfy clothes.
Yes. Don't stiletto it. I know it's very tempting to walk on.
You want to look really glam.
Yeah. I mean, like the song
I
says.
don't wear stilettos now for that reason.
No, but apricot scarf, walking on a yacht, in your stilettos, your feet are gonna.
If it's a
be
private yacht, fantastic. But as you mentioned earlier on, you don't know how long it's going to take you
to
until
get
you get
through.
your clothes and your shoes, and
No.
you are going to do a lot of walking.
Yes.
No
Yes.
matter where you're going from, that's a lot. Make sure you've got comfortable items on.
Yeah.
But as I say, you've no guarantee when you next see in a
No.
suitcase.
No, and there's snazzy trainers now. You don't have to.
You don't.
No.
The morning of the cruise. It's very easy to get overly excited. We speak from experience and forget either to have breakfast or think, I'll have some when I get on the cruise.
This is I think, a big mistake people make.
We see it a lot and we hear it an awful lot where people will go, we haven't eaten today and now we're sat here waiting and it's taken us 2 hours to get on.
Yeah.
And people get very hangry.
They do.
Make sure you have some breakfast, whatever your thing is.
Just don't go on an empty stomach. I know some people are not breakfast people, but I'm talking to you now. Just have a little nibble of something.
A little nibble of something.
Just so that you've got something in your tummy, even for a drink.
Timing for getting to the port.
Yes.
If it says, as it does for us, your arrival time is 1 o'clock, do not arrive there at 10:30.
You are not going to be popular and you're not getting
You're
on.
not getting on.
No.
You might get lucky and you might get through. You might get there and the gates are shut.
Yes.
which means you're just sitting there. It could be raining, as in this particular example,
Yeah.
on it. Arriving early doesn't mean you get on early.
No.
And in a lot of cases, people are still getting off. We've seen people arriving there at 8 o'clock in the morning when we're getting off the ship, and then moaning they can't get on.
Well, the people that are allowing people to go through have zero chill.
No, they don't. And that's bringing it on to that bit, which is relax. Don't get on the cruise in a bad mood. The number of times that we've seen people getting really agitated, sat there waiting because they've arrived very early,
Yes.
and then frustrated they can't get on.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. Just relax, go for a walk if you're there, have a drink.
We like to find a little quiet corner to do some little quiet wordling, so we
Some
don't
wordling.
so we don't spoil
Just-
it for other
Yeah,
people.
just relaxing, because then when you do get on the ship, you're in the right frame of mind, you're ready to
Yes.
start your holiday. I said the number of times that we've seen people while we're walking up the gangplank to get on who are in a really bad mood.
Yes.
That's not the way you want to start a
No,
holiday.
you
Just
don't. You
relax.
don't.
You get on there, you want to have some fun.
And that's it. And if you've not eaten as well, so you want to eat and you're hungry and everywhere's going to be busy, just easy breezy.
And it is worth pointing out, not all cruise lines have food that's available all day long.
Cunard, we're looking at you.
Yeah. You might find you get on there and you can't get anything to eat till 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's less common these days, but there are a number of cruise lines that is a case of.
Yeah.
Just get on, relax, have a cocktail.
Yes.
And that brings us to the end of the video, Linz.
Well, thank you, darling.
And cheers.
Cheers, and thanks for watching, and have a lovely day.